Yes, I'm actually married to the guy that I met here in VR chat.
Yeah, I met my boyfriend on here about 2 years ago, actually.
Aww.
That's crazy.
Ooh, never. No, absolutely not.
I could say I'm 12, but I'm not. I'm in my 30s. They don't, nobody knows that. I mean, I could literally, you can't tell that I'm older. I don't mess around with it because I don't know how old anybody is, but to each is his own.
This is a VR social platform where some of the users live in, and many people still till this day don't really understand that behind those avatars, behind those dogs or anime boys and anime girls, there is a real human being with a real soul and real feelings. Most people are still being toxic. Most people are still being unaware that your actions actually have a consequence, like your actions have a consequences. And so many people like to play around with feelings. Many people like to waste someone's time and tell them sweet lies about how it's gonna be, how they feel about the other person.
Yeah, no, we're married. He's over there in the other part of the room. Like he actually, sorry, in IRL, my bad. But I met him and he's from Canada. We're in the process of getting his visa to move here permanently, and we married months after meeting each other. Actually, we met like a year and 3 months ago, and yeah, we decided to because we were just hanging out like all the time, like 24/7, like in here. Then we added each other on Discord and then just started phone calling. We literally had over like a 700-hour conversation just all the time on Discord. And the only reason it like hung up is because he'd accidentally hang up or he lost Wi-Fi or something. So it was a lot longer than that. It was over 1,000 hours.
I have a friend and she met her husband on here and they dated for like a year, and then the German guy, so she was from Australia, the guy was German, and German guy flew over on their 1 year anniversary over to Australia. They lived with each other for a few months. 2nd year anniversary, they get engaged, and then she flies over there. I guess the miracle there, what happened is that kept in touch with each other and they took a chance, shot in the dark, and it worked. It's possible. That's why I don't exactly rain on the idea of it, like, I guess really so hard, but I always remind any friend who was to tell me, I tell them, there's a very, very low chance. Be realistic with yourself. Look in the position where you are right now in life. Realistically, this isn't gonna work out. I'm gonna be honest with you. But if, for example, in that married couple back there, right? They were like, I think they're like early 20s, right? They had already passed that, gotten their careers. They were looking for that, and they were making it possible. Not only that, but it was a miracle that they found each other like that and kept it going on and growing and flourishing, and now still flourishing.
Oh, majorly, yeah, because like I have a lot of internet friends. Like I'm gonna sound like a real loner here, but I don't have a lot of friends and like around me. I move around like way too much for that. So I have all my friends online. So when he was like, yeah, I want to meet, like, this is like for real, I want to meet you. I was like, dude, I've had friends for years that just don't want to meet. So this is something so anxious. Whenever we first met though, I had just moved with my mom to Texas. So now this is where we live permanently for right now. And yeah, he flew out here to Texas, and just like that, he's like, I'm coming. Just know it. Like, I'm coming. I'm gonna meet you. And I was like, hey. He was here for like 4 days, and then after like not even like a whole month, like he came back, and he's kind of just been here since. Like he went back to Canada for a little bit to he was having a family trip, and then he came back not even like 2 weeks after that, and he's just been here since. Until he has to go back to Canada, because he has to keep going back if he's not a citizen yet. So he has to keep going back every once in a while. So he goes back in February, and then he'll come back after 2 weeks and be here again.
I mean, long distance is really hard, but he's a really great guy. So I think he will definitely, we've been talking about it, and we're really hoping this year will be the year he will come by and visit. Well, when I got on VR chat for the first time, I wasn't really looking to date anyone, and then I met him, and yeah, there are definitely pros and cons. Like, long distance, as I said, is really hard, and it's just like a test of patience, but it's also a test of loyalty as well. you know? Like, it's hard, but it's also amazing as well.
I would agree with you on the topic that the distance here is a key to success, but it's not always like this. I mean, if you think about it, every single person you meet everywhere, you still have to put the work in, you still have to invest money, you still have to invest time, you still have to take into consideration the fact that you'll have to move in order to be with someone. If you say distance is an issue, I don't think that's necessarily true, because, well, you can meet someone on Tinder still cities away. You still have to move to them if you want to for the things to work out, right? It's, you know, I wouldn't say it's just a VR thing that the distance is an issue, but at the other hand, VR helps, right?
In our case, it was drama because we had a big friend group, and before I had met him, I was dating somebody in that friend group, and then we just didn't work out. But when he came into the friend group, there was a girl that she didn't express liking my now husband, and only when we got together and had feelings was she like, this is wrong, you guys aren't supposed to be together, I don't like it. But she never told me why, or she never told him why or anything like that. She just said, I don't like it and it's never gonna work out. And the only reason that she'd ever tell me that is because I have 2 kids. So my husband had, you know, to overcome the fact that he's younger than me and that I have 2 kids. And so she was like, you're just pulling a younger guy into your baggage. So we lost the friend group because she was, I don't know, I guess she was jealous and upset, or felt that I was dragging him down. Yeah, she just said that I was like being a burden on him, and I was like, I mean, it's not yeah, I was to say it's like his choice to make that if he wants. Yeah, so I was like, you know, I don't know, because it was, you know, it was really funny because, like, you know, we had met at the end of November, then by February we were together, and they were just, yeah, the guy that I was with was really upset, or, you know, used to be with before him was really upset, and then she was upset, and they like ganged together, and just like the whole group that we were in was like, you know, X out these 2 people, we don't no longer want anything to do with them. And I was like, okay. So it's always just been me and him ever since. But I mean, joke's on them, we got married and worked out.
On a virtual game is kind of crazy because, like, it's because that on a virtual game, you can't really improve on yourself a little bit too. All you're doing is just switching avatar. But in real life, you can lose weight, improving yourself. Everything's all about improvement at the end of the day. It comes from a place from when they were first born a little bit too. Sometimes it can be a mental illness, but overall, that's not good for anybody else because you have to go outside, experience things a little bit too, and things of that nature. So that's pretty bad on their behalf. But some people can't really get access to that little bit too because they hate self-improvement and they leave things alone instead of solving their own problems and actually being somebody. So that goes into play and that kind of sucks for them. But hey, you're tearing down your own foundation as a man and a woman at the same time too. And you mentally don't know how to think for yourself. And you're too lost in mind fog. We're going to call it that. So perspective-wise, they do need a lot of help. But they'll realize it earlier down the line.
Well, let me just say it like this. I didn't believe it at the first... Okay, hang on. I'm kind of struggling with speaking. I didn't believe it at first with the whole VRC dating culture. Then after I played more and more and more, it kind of hit me a little bit since the more people I've seen kind of, you know, dating, kind of being with each other, made me think that maybe that this could be like the first step on meeting that sends someone in person. Because VRC dating will be really first step of really getting to know each other. And when the right time comes, then maybe you'll be able to meet in person. No offense, but with the robotic voice, it's really difficult to understand you, mate.
It was really, like, I mean, we just went on, like, a lot of dates together and stuff in here, so, or even, like, through Discord, we would just have movie dates and stuff like that. It was extremely hard. That's why even now, like, him still not being a citizen, the time that he gets to be here and then he has to go back is still extremely hard. Even now, I'm like, dude, you're gonna leave in a month and I'm gonna be sad. And he's like, we'll just have to be on the phone, like, all the time. And even when you're working, we'll just be on the phone. Because we both work from home, too. So that's why it's a lot easier for him to be here and not us worry about anything. Because if he worked in Canada, he would not be able to be here for these like 6-month periods. You know, if he was to have worked anywhere that's still in Canada that's not working on, you know, computer from home, he would obviously have to go in Canada and be, you know, there for working purposes and stuff like that. But when he's here in the US, he can only be here for a max of 6 months, and then he has to go back. That's kind of like how the US works, is if you're not, you know, you can only be here for 6 months at max, and then he's got to go back. So I'm like very thankful that he works from home, because if he didn't, then yeah, it'd be way harder, way harder. But at least whenever he was not here before we met, it would just be constant finding dates in here and watching movies together. And we did used to have a big group of friends, but then, you know, it's just us now.
On my like friends list, there is quite some people that like found love in here, and they are really happy. And I'm pretty sure they wouldn't take another choice if they would have an option to do it again. But me personally, no luck. Well, I was only I never found what I was looking for, and you just have to be aware that it's not gonna be like how you imagine it.
People have definitely like been meeting online. That's just, I guess, the new way of meeting people in our generation, and that's just how a lot of people are meeting nowadays. Like, especially if you're like an introvert like me, I have trouble like meeting people in person. But like on VR, I feel like it's much easier for me to get to meet people who are into the same things that I'm into.
I think VR chat itself, I could like what we do, the more humanistic or human or anthropomorphic like models and avatars. I think it can communicate. Oh, what's the word? It was never for communicate. It was transmit, maybe. I think transmit. I'll use transmit for now, but like kind of like an intimacy feeling. And I think people for that reason get feel closeness and, you know, other things like phantom touch and all that such. But when it comes to online dating in general, I think there's a very low, like I'm talking like 0.1% chance to actually work out, because it usually doesn't happen for many reasons. I mean, the common one is that the person is, you know, not as you thought they were. Maybe they didn't look as the way you thought you were.
In my opinion, I feel they like it, then they can go for it. I know people are sometimes socially inept to create real bonds in real life, so this is almost like a crutch for them. If it's good for them, I don't really care. It is really cringy, like seeing two like e-girls and e-boys just like sitting in corners together, but you do you. You know, I'm not going to hate a small person for being small.
From my experience, they've been bad either way. That's why I really don't have friends. And I know that makes me sound like a really bad loner, but I choose not to associate myself with too many people. And here, I guess, after my friend group, I stayed mostly quiet. But I mean, even the few people I've talked to, like, we're friends for like a minute, and then they kind of just go MIA. But yeah, they are a lot worse in here, because yeah, they can just disappear on you and feel like they have no obligation because you're just another stranger on the internet. So they're ruthless. They could just walk away and it doesn't matter. I mean, or they think it doesn't matter because they're not the person, you know, they're not the ones hurt by it. They don't know if, say, you know, like if you and I were sitting here, we're having a whole conversation of being really close for weeks on end, but you poof because you're like, I mean, I don't know you like that. It's no obligation, but that could hurt me, you know, because I feel like we were close. So not everybody has the same moral standby of being around in someone's life.
I'm actually in a friend group right now, and have been for a little while, and there's always been like this drama that goes on with one person or another. I guess when you're part of a big friend group, you know, there's always someone who has something to say about somebody, unfortunately. Yeah, it's not fun. Yeah, I remember this one person I've known for a little while on VR chat. She had asked to speak with my boyfriend privately, and so they went to a different world right before he told me he would be back. I didn't really think much of it, and he came back. I told him, "Hey, everything okay? What was that about?" And he was like, "Oh, it was about you." I go, "Oh, what about me?" And he goes, "Well, she was saying that you were cheating on me." And I'm like, "What? That's absolutely ridiculous. You know, I've always been a loyal girlfriend." and always will be.
Well, I think VR chat is affecting people, you know, because it's like I said, what you asked previously about the dating scene. It's like it's creating almost fake relationships where between people where you don't even see what they look like. It's someone who they want you to see. So it's like most of like I don't look like this in real life, and guaranteed an anime chick doesn't look like that in real life. And I think it's just creating like negative. It's like social media, you know, how it creates like fake expectations for people, and it almost makes them inept to like real life human connections because they rely on stuff like VR chat. Yeah, especially if they've never even like seen each other. I mean, yeah, if you can meet through this game and further on your relationship to where you can meet in real life and have a successful relationship, then good for you. But I feel like the majority of people don't do that, and they just use this as a way to get off because they can in real life.
I kind of have, and I say I'm gonna like tread lightly about it, is like I have a friend that I've known going on like 8 years now, and you know, I'm the godmom to her kids and she's the godmom to mine, but in like we used to live together, work together, all that stuff, like we were really, really close. But then like it's gonna sound like I have major mommy issues, but I have a really bad relationship with my mom, and so like I never want anybody that I'm friends with or in a relationship to, like, yeah, they can meet my mom, but I don't ever want anybody to get close because my mom has a really twisted way of making, like, anybody in my life kind of just poofing. Like, if she's not happy, I don't deserve to be. So she started turning to my mom started turning to my best friend that I had, and well, they got really close. And anything that I would say, like, my mom would twist it up to her. Anything that I would tell to her because she got so close to my mom, she'd tell my mom, or like force me to talk to my mom. Was like, well, you need to tell your mom, blah 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 blah. Recently, like in the last few months, I've had 2 miscarriages, but the first miscarriage I had, I didn't want to talk to my mom because my mom's really been bad about me with kids. She's like, you can't afford nothing, you blah 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 blah, you shouldn't be having kids. But when I told my best friend, I was like, I don't want to talk to my mom about it because I don't want her to be involved. Well, she forced me to tell my mom, and then but she was like, thank God, you know, God handled it because you don't need another kid. And I had a miscarriage and wanted to talk to my best friend about it. So because of that incident, I didn't want to talk to my best friend anymore because anything I trust her with, she goes to my mom. So I feel like any relationship that I personally have gets twisted up by somebody else, you know, that doesn't want to see me happy. And like, it kind of sucks that it's my own mom, but any relationship I've ever had, like, she's tried to spoil. And she's even tried it with my husband now, but obviously my husband's like, no, I know what your mom's doing. Like, she even tried to do that with my ex, my kids' father. Like, we have a good co-parenting relationship, but she's kind of like tried to stir up stuff with him too, but he's, you know, like,
Hang on a minute. Let me get this straight. Humans of VR with 139,000 subscriptions on it. Now what did I got myself into?